G'day, my name is John. Welcome to another video. This time around we are going to look at a couple of the engines and transmissions that I have in my little single overhead cam Falcon collection. So I've got this 4 litre from a EB Series 2. I got this off Marketplace with a BTR transmission for $250. I don't know a lot about it. It's supposed to be fairly low kilometre, 130,000 apparently. It's been sitting for a while. I need to know, does it turn over? What the insides look like? What's the oil that's come out of it look like? Has it got oil in it still? I don't know. I've got a lot of questions. And then secondly, I've got 2 BTRs. So I've got one that came off the back of this that I just want to drain the pan, have a look at the fluid, have a look at the magnets, go from there. And then secondly, I've got one off an AU, which apparently has better internals. So I picked that up off Marketplace actually a little while ago. And again, I just want to pull it down, have a look, see what the friction material is like inside, see what the fluid was like, try and have a guess, you know, what condition and how well it was looked after. So those 3 things are on my agenda. So I think first things first, we'll get this up on an engine stand. I'll bring you guys in and we'll have a look. New day, back on the single overhead cam teardown. Goal is obviously sussing out the condition. That's one thing. I want to get this rocker cover off. I want to drain the oil. Just notice the water pump condition. Just want to have a bit of a look and see what we've got here. I want to figure out how to get this crank pulley off the front of the motor because I need to do it in the ED. It's got a really bad front crank seal leak. And then yeah, just kind of go through and have a bit of a look. Just understand what we got. So I already had to take this alternator bracket off just to get it in a bit of a parking spot in here. So we'll get this out of the way. Get these spark plug wires out. They're all in the right little spots. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alrighty. There's some a little bit of rust on these rockers, on the rollers. It's clean though. It's like no sludge. Yeah, really my only concern is like this. Timing chain. I noticed the tensioner was already undone over here, so I'm a bit nervous to turn the engine over. Alright. Let's keep going. It's got a thermostat. Can't tell what it is. Want to know what temperature it is. This gives you an indication of were they trying to keep it cool or is it overheating? Obviously doesn't look milky. Bit rusty, but it's pretty norm. Look at the sensors hanging off this thing. Gosh, I never realised just how many sensors they have hanging off that housing. I reckon that thing's got no thermostat. That is my theory. I've got some issues, some cold start issues with that. We'll probably get into in another video, and I reckon it hasn't got a thermostat. Alright, front accessories. We can probably get this aircon compressor out of the way. All right, I think next let's pull the plugs out, see what condition they're in. Sooty, but actually not that bad. Big gap. Wow. Big gap, but it looks all right. Okay, I've definitely had some water sitting down in that spark plug area, I believe. I'd say this motor has sat outside, but it doesn't look like it's got in the top end at least. Spark plugs, they all look very similar. 3 is a little blacker and definitely had some water sitting around the top of it anyway. Certainly nothing in the cylinders, I don't think. Rust wise, plenty of fuel in the cylinders by the looks of it. Yeah, smells like fuel, smells like carbon, doesn't smell like oil. All right, I'll get those back in so that that's sealed and we'll keep going. All right, so I think I'll unlock this tensioner again so that we can give this motor a bit of a spin. Actually see if it even cranks over. There we go. Yeah, that's unlocked now. Oh, it spins. Let's clean off these as they spin around. Is that just picking? Oh, it's all on the cam. Oh, the cam's pitted. Pitting, or rusting, but pitting, rust, lots of rust. Lots and lots and lots. Yeah. Okay. So we do not have a good spare engine. You guys hear that? That cam is done. Bugger. All right, let's get this oil out. I don't see any shinies in it. No forbidden glitter. Any of you guys watch I Do Cars? I still want to practice getting this pulley off, I think, just because the motor in my ED, has that awful oil leak. So if I can get some practice here, pulling this off and just understanding how that works, because I have never done it, then that's still a win. That's still a win. So let's try and get this crank bolt out. And I've got my puller ready, and we'll see what happens. That was a lot easier than I was expecting. So, that goes in there, that goes in there. There's not a DIY guide, for heaven's sake. Please do not follow anything I do unless it maybe works. Even then, I take no responsibility for anything that happens. I am just having a go. Which is how you learn, people. I am just having a go. It's coming. Sweet. Oh yeah, this one's pretty disgusting too. Oh, doing that in the car is going to be fun. And then what? All that accessory drive off. Water pump can stay. Oh, that's the alternator. That's one of the alternator bolts too. Oh. This is a big job. This is a big job to try and do in the car. All right, feeling a bit flat, to be honest. Glad I learned how to take that off. That was actually pretty straightforward. I didn't think that would be so easy. This was a spare in case I put a rod through the side of that with boost. Obviously it's no good. I mean, the bottom end's still probably okay. I could still keep it for the bottom end and always put that head on it, you know, because that's got the AU head in it. That's got the WR2A head in it. This is a 91 AA head. So this is like the original ED head. So I think with all that in mind, let's go and see what mysteries I can find inside these two BTRs. So let's go figure them out, see what's going on, and we'll regroup. See you in a minute. Okay, so here's the BTRs. I've got two, as I mentioned. So this one in front of me is from an AU. A couple of reasons you can tell that if you don't already know for some reason. One is the part number, which is down here somewhere. There's a white sticker. This says 1R, 23, blah, 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 blah. So that's AU part number. There's 02 stamped here somewhere, which again signifies when it was built. I've also got some casting over here as well that suggests it was manufactured in 2002. And then of course the bell housing. So if you don't know your BTRs, there's 4 BTRs, 85 LE, 91 LE, 93 LE, is it 95 LE? Is that the beefy one? I think so. So the early one is like EA Series 2, I believe. It's pretty rare. 91 LE is what I'm sitting on. So this box is out of a EB Series 2, so it should be the same as what's in my ED. And then this one is out of an AU. So apparently these are the better boxes. I believe the pump has wider gears, and I think some of the internals are a little bit better than the earlier ones. The BA has got the best internals, but I think the pump went back to a skinnier gear on the oil pump or something like that, and so they're good, and obviously they're very easy to find, but these AU ones are apparently the best. So I want to see if this is any good, and of course I want to see if this E-Series one is any good as well. Sorry, the other way you can tell too, if you don't know everything, is this has a fill plug, so it's got to be from a later car because they dumped it in like 94. And then this one I'm sitting on has a dipstick, so you know it's immediately from like a pre-94, pre-EF E-Series. So there is your history lesson in BTRs. I'll take that one to the grave with me. And yeah, we'll get a socket on this pan and we'll start draining and yeah, see what the fluid looks like. There she goes. It looks very clean. Oh, it smells terrible. It's not looking good. I'll see. You guys need to see. I don't know if this is going to come up. You guys see the silver sitting on top of the transmission fluid? That's metallic. It's like clutch material or something. Not a good sign. Alright, well, here's the pan, and it is not looking good. Might actually bring the GoPro in here and show you guys. Alright, so is that coming across? Yeah. It should not be looking like that. So that is, I mean, it's been cleaned in here for sure. But that is clutch material. The magnet over here looks too clean. Actually, there's a bunch of gunk here. Oh, okay. Yep. All right. You guys see that? Just black paste. Black paste all on that magnet. So, actually there's like quite sharp bits of something there. All right, well this thing's clearly pretty tired. So in terms of chucking this straight in my car, it's probably not ideal. I would say this is just going to end up slipping, especially with boost. So this is a rebuild or a parts box, unfortunately. So let's get this back on there and we'll swap over and have a look at the EB. One more thing I nearly forgot to check and tell you guys about on these BTRs is this output shaft. There's like a brass bush inside here that keeps this nice and centered and fairly solid. This one is not. Here is transmission number 2 up on the stand. So as I said, this is a, I won't say early E series, but it's pre-EF, so it's still got a dipstick on it, and the more I look around, it's quite a lot of just wetness everywhere. Out of the bottom of the dipstick, out of the bottom of this servo cover, all around the back of the pan. In fact, it looks like it's been leaking out the back of the pan, and that would be evident by the mess that I have on the floor over there. So if we look down here on the part number, so 91DA. So that's a dead giveaway that this is EB onwards, or EB to ED. Obviously an EF box should have 94DA, and the AU had, what did the AU have? 1R, and then BA will be 3R, etc, etc. So these are one of the external band adjusters, and then this is the other external band adjuster. As I said, dipstick, no fill plug, because funnily enough that's where the band adjuster is. But otherwise it's very, very similar to the AU box. So let's get this pan off and see what this looks like. That is very, very black. Oh wow. Oh. Yeah, it's very old, very old. Alright, well here's our first look at the pan, and yeah, BTR life. And the magnets look, yeah, they're pretty well coated as well. Look, I know these BTRs are pretty known for being a bit slimy like this, but that's pretty bad. So just having a bit of a look over. So I'm missing the speed sensor there, which is no biggie. Output seals toast, absolutely toast. I think this is actually an original Ford part, just judging by the way that that presses in. It's got like a metal lip, rather than the typical sort of hammer in. Was it NOK style? Obviously leaking too, because there's all fluid in the bottom of here. And this bush is of course pretty had it, because I've got probably 5 millimeters, if not more, play, particularly up and down and probably left and right as well. All right, that's it for this video. Very happy that we had a look inside that engine and found that rusty cam before I went and jammed it in here as a replacement. We'll have to figure out what we're going to do with that, and of course those 2 BTRs. Yeah, a little bit metallic-y, flaky, pasty, clutch material-y inside, which, yeah, BTRs do that, but they, yeah, they were pretty sparkly. So we'll have to figure out what to do there. Obviously, from the last video, you know I have a Barra and a ZF, so you probably know already what I'm potentially thinking. But part of what I'm doing is just trying to scope out what I've got, what's good, what's not, and what the next steps are. So next step is going to be solving some issues on this thing. We've got a couple of oil leaks, a couple of funny noises that I want to suss out before we start making decisions for the next step. So please, if you want to see some more work on the ED, hit that thumbs up button below and hit the subscribe button next to it so that you get a little ping when the content comes out. So really appreciate you all watching. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.